Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel, and today we have another Bitcoin technical analysis and price prediction for you. So what I want to do here is explain why Bitcoin is bullish, look at some key resistance and support levels, and then give the price prediction on Bitcoin after we look at some indicators, oscillators, and moving averages as to why I think Bitcoin can continue to the upside. So if that sounds interesting at all, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin and where it's at right now. So one of the key things that I want to note here right off the bat is that Bitcoin really has two major forms of trend lines. The first one being this support line on the bottom, and the second one being this resistance line on the top. Now, we are actively testing this support line a lot more often than we're testing this resistance line. Now, what this means is that people are very comfortable buying Bitcoin at this level, but the bears are also kind of shoving it down to this support line pretty repeatedly. We don't have too much resistance to the upside of Bitcoin, while we do have a lot of support. And even if this line were to break, we still, if we zoom out, have a lot more support to the downside than there is resistance to the upside. Now, immediately, if Bitcoin can break this EMA of what we're looking at right now, again, this is the 4-hour chart, but we've already broken the 200 EMA. We have that 4-hour golden cross, and if Bitcoin can break this 50 EMA on this 4-hour chart, which is just going to be around 56,900, almost $57,000. If Bitcoin can break this, I really don't see any reason as to why Bitcoin can't continue to head from where we're currently at right now towards the top of this range, which would be at about a 4.5% gain on Bitcoin, bringing it to just below $60,000, just around that 59,000 area. Now, this is also going to be two different forms of resistance, because what we have to immediately look at here is, yes, this is a trend line resistance, but also this is a previous local high or a micro high resistance on Bitcoin, which is, again, just going to be right below that $60,000 area. The good news here is that if Bitcoin can break out from that and get over that $60,000 hump of resistance, I really don't see any reason why it couldn't retest at least back up to another 7% to the upside past that, going all the way up to about $63,500. Now, I know that might be a little bit optimistic, but you have to remember that the trend is your friend here on Bitcoin. It has been bullish for over a year now, and that has been a long-term uptrend. As we zoom out on the one-day chart in just a second and look at, Bitcoin has historically been bullish for over 12 months now, which is a historic thing to see, that we haven't really had any kind of macro bear market. We haven't had any death cross on the one day. We haven't really even come close to that in a while. Now, as we do zoom out just a little bit, I want to look at these indicators and oscillators like the MACD and the RSI before I move over to the one-day chart. Now, over here, what we can see is that we have a lower swing high on this MACD, signifying that this is double bullish divergence. We're seeing that play out right now, and this is already starting to move back towards the upside. Again, showing that there is strength and buying pressure coming in on Bitcoin right now. The other thing that I'm noticing is that there is 4 consistently higher swing lows on Bitcoin's RSI on this 4-hour chart. This is, to me, one of the most clear-cut signs that Bitcoin could very well be bullish at this range, because this is one of the things that you do not see too often on Bitcoin. And when you do see this from the downside, again, coming from this oversold territory down here, this is what makes me believe that we are going to be leaning bullish in the near future. These consistently higher swing lows on the relative strength index on a 4-hour time scale is a really good sign, in my opinion. Historically, this has played out pretty well for Bitcoin. I would say 90% of the time this does work out in the bull's favor, and when you see the vice versa of this happening on the top, you do start seeing a little bit of a sell-off on Bitcoin, which we have seen in the past as well. Now, moving this over to the one-day chart, let's take a quick look at this guy so we can see it just a little bit more clear-cut, a little bit more of a zoomed-out picture. And as you guys can't see, I did want to show this. The trend is your friend over here. Number one, we are above the 50 EMA, which is really, really good to see again on Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin needs to close above this and really start holding it again like we used to, because if you remember, when we broke above this back in October, we used this as support just time and time and time again on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin held it very well. Now that we did break down below it over here, very briefly, Bitcoin did bounce above it, and we're kind of just playing in this range, deciding whether or not we want to use it as either support or resistance. But I think Bitcoin, if it can hold this area and break out here, I really don't see any reason why it can't do some sort of a break, hook, and go, and really just shoot its way up to new highs. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the altcoins already start to take off, some controversial ones, but I don't really see any reason why Bitcoin can't here. One thing that I do want to probably talk about in a separate video is the fact that Bitcoin took off, the altcoins lagged behind, now the altcoins are taking off, and Bitcoin's not really going with them. This is something that we actually saw back at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, right before the crash happened. So I think that that's a separate topic for another video. But from the sheer technicals of Bitcoin, yes, we are below its all-time high, but we have been there before and we have conquered that. We are starting to see a little bit of stagnation in the price of Bitcoin, at least compared to what we've done over the last 12 months prior to this. So that does make me just a little bit nervous. But again, it's not like we're seeing stagnation in the entirety of cryptocurrency. It's more so we're just seeing that stabilization in the price of Bitcoin while altcoins are continuing to run, kind of signifying that money is going out of Bitcoin and into the altcoins. Final thoughts on this, again, volume really isn't too bad. Saw some good pressure coming out today as this Tuesday open happened, or really Tuesday night. And I think one thing that we could be setting ourselves up for potentially is double bullish divergence on the MACD and from this RSI, potentially a higher swing low if it does want to dip anymore. But sitting very neutral for the most part on the daily indicators, and we still have plenty of support, and I think that that's going to be kind of the name of the game over here. So lots of fun stuff to happen. Support level on Bitcoin is going to be at around 54,000, probably $54,500 is going to be a support on Bitcoin if it wants to come back down and test this level. From the way that these wicks are looking, if Bitcoin closes somewhat green, I would say that those are two really good wicks to see on Bitcoin. Again, with this double bottom that we saw over here, and potentially this tweezer double bottom almost. Again, I think that these closings are looking more and more in favor of the bulls for Bitcoin. But, we will have to wait and see. I think that the first candle body closing that happens either below support or above resistance is going to be really telling of what direction Bitcoin wants to take. Again, the trend is your friend, so I am leaning a little bullish on Bitcoin. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop me a comment in the comment section down below. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on Bitcoin from where it's at right now, and let me know if you are either bullish or bearish. Once again, guys, thank you all so much, and I will see all of you in the next video.